right. Hi, everyone. Hope the day was good. Hope you're nice and warm now. We're gonna do a little stretch. If you have a tennis ball, go grab a tennis ball. If not, that's totally cool. We're gonna start with the tennis ball. But first, you're gonna take your toes. You're gonna tuck them under, even that little pinky one. And you're gonna sit back onto your heels to open up the bottom of the feet that have been stuck in boots all day. And you're just gonna drop your shoulders, take a few deep breaths here. You can put your hands to your rib cage, make sure that as you inhale, the air is coming and expanding out the back, the sides, and the front, filling up all of your diaphragm. Okay, you might begin to feel a little bit achy in the feet. You might notice that one foot is tighter than the other foot. You might feel some burning sensation, some compression in the toes, obviously, and just try and sit with that and let that start to relax and lengthen through that bottom of the foot there. Good. Eventually we are going to sit up. Slowly let those feet come out. And we're going to sit down onto the heels. Okay. This might be hard for some people. So if it is, and you have a towel or something, you could place it underneath your ankles just for a little bit of support and so that the ankle is not stretched as much. So sitting here, we are going to do a few shoulder rolls backwards, warming up the shoulders. Good, and a few shoulder rolls forward. Okay, because most of us had a pack on all day, when you're wearing a pack, you tend to hunch forward a little bit, and then the front body starts to compress, which pulls your head forward, which hyperextends the back of your neck. So you're now looking like this when you have a big backpack on, and we want to counteract that position that we've been in all day. So you're going to sit up nice and tall. Imagine someone is pulling a string at the top of your head, right at the crown. And I like to take my pointer finger, place it on my chin, take a deep inhale, and as I exhale, I'm going to gently push my chin, give myself a nice double chin here. So attractive. And we're just lengthening out the back of the neck. It feels amazing. Release, inhale, and as you exhale, push one more time. Good, and we're just going to do that again one more time for good measure. So pushing your chin back, lifting up, lengthening through the crown of the head. Good, and release. Check that out. We're going to take our left hand, since it's pointing towards the camera here, you're going to tuck it underneath your heel. And from here, you're going to bring that chest forward. And then you're going to begin to turn your chin towards your opposite armpit. Okay, you should feel a nice long stretch along the trapezius muscle, the upper traps, maybe a little bit into the levator scapula, but as I poke it here, you can see that it is very tight on me. If you are not feeling anything, you can play with the angle of your chin. You can maybe move it up a little bit. Now the stretch is moving forward more into my scalenes, which is also a great place to stretch. And you can go all the way up and you will feel that stretch move from the shoulder all the way down the collarbone. You can go up and then we're going to go back down nice and slow. Stop anywhere. Feel free to pause me at any time if you need a few more minutes in this stretch here, just to get all of those fibers relaxed and elongated. And you can take your chin down towards your chest. Good. And then release. Good. Okay, we're going to do the other side. So placing the right hand underneath the ankle. Here, chest comes up, shoulder kind of goes back a little bit. Take a deep breath in and begin to turn your chin towards your opposite armpit. Breathing here. Playing with the angle of your chin. Maybe lifting it up. Here, right here, I can feel a lot just behind my ear, which might be getting a little bit into the splenius capitis muscle, maybe a bit of the SCM. And I'm going to continue the arch up with my chin. Again, stopping anywhere that you feel some really tight restrictions. You don't want to feel any sharp shooting pains. That is a red flag. Slowly move your head out of that position if you start to feel any sharp shooting pains. Another thing that could happen in this stretch is it could be so tight that the brachial plexus, all your nerves, start to get pinched and you could lose some feeling in your arm. So if you start to get a little bit tingly in the hand and arm, then you can also abort this stretch or just ease off a little bit, come to a less intense position, and only you will know how that feels in your own body. So make sure that you're listening to what your body is telling you and adjust appropriately. So taking that chin all the way down, out of the stretch, chin towards the sternum, release your hand, and here you can just sway side to side, just a little bit, and we're going to roll that neck back up. All right, from here, we're going to get off of those feet. They've probably fallen asleep. And we're going to get into the fascia of the foot a little bit more. So if you have a tennis ball, you're going to start with that ball right at the ball of the foot. Ha ha, ha ha. And you're going to stay in this position. My hands are here because I want to control how much pressure I'm putting into my foot. If I just stand on it, it can be a bit intense. So slowly I'm starting to pour my weight onto the ball, the tennis ball, and I am beginning to feel my tissues start to melt into that ball, getting some hot poking pain. This is my tighter foot. And I'm just going to stay with the sensation. Eventually, we are slowly going to start to roll that foot forward, and that ball will move more to the middle of the foot. And this is a very, very slow process. And if you feel some pain, some tingling, that's normal. Try and take a deep breath and stay in it. Yeah, it feels really good. Also very painful. This is very painful. And at 1 second it could be just fine, and then all of a sudden it gets really, really intense. And that is just the ball getting into the different layers of fascia within your foot. Fascia, if you don't know, is a connective tissue that surrounds all of your muscles, all of your bones, all of your muscle fibers, all of your organs. Basically, it is a matrix connecting everything in your body. So the reason why I want you guys to try this foot release is because there is a fascial band that goes all the way from the ball of the foot all the way up the back, and it attaches right here on your skull. They've done dissections, they've looked at this fascial band, and when you release the foot, it can then therefore release some of the tension in your neck as well. So this is great to do if you have lots of tension in your shoulders and neck and you can't get into your massage therapist. So try a foot release on the ball. Okay, I don't know if you can see, I haven't made it very far with the ball, but it is slowly moving. And yeah, just gonna sit here. Takes a bit. If I was smart, I would have made myself a little beverage. Sometimes I like to sip while I stretch. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is good. Breathing will help everything relax. It'll calm your nervous system. It'll take you into a state of deep relaxation. I can feel in my foot right now, I'm starting to get right into the middle, and it is getting very intense. Feels great. I hope you haven't given up yet. I hope you're still on the ball. Trust me, it will feel so good when you're done. So good. But when you're in it, it kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucks. The foot also has a lot of reflex points. So sometimes the ball can trigger some of those reflex points. You might feel like the feeling of goosebumps, or just like a full body kind of lightening feeling, which feels really cool. If anyone's done any reflexology, you'll know what I'm talking about. The foot and the hands and the ears can access the full body and treat a lot of disorders that are happening within the body just through those 3 different points. Okay, I'm getting closer to the heel. Just breathing here. There's a point just before you hit the heel bone. The fascial band underneath your foot starts wide around the ball of the foot, and then it begins to narrow towards the heel, and it actually comes up and around to join in with the Achilles tendon. And this is a very, very thick place of fascia. So it takes a very long time for it to release. And if you're patient enough and you can handle the intensity of it, you will be rewarded afterwards. So right now, the ball on my foot is just starting to reach that narrowing part, and it is becoming quite painful. But not to the point where I'm like, I can still talk, so maybe that's your guiding line. If you can still communicate, that is a good sign that you're not going too deep. And I'm just using my thumb here to help push along my foot along the ball. Okay, getting to that heel bone. Oh yeah. Yeah. Good, taking one more deep inhale. Getting past that point. And rolling off. Okay. If you're still with me and you want to do the other foot, great. I would highly recommend doing both sides. Now that I'm off, I'm just going to give that foot a little second to relax and feel that new space in that foot. I think it even released my neck. Feels great. Okay, so I'm now going on to the second side. If you want to fast forward, you can do that. If you want to sit here and do the other side with me, you're totally welcome to do that. I am taking lots of time here to do this, and it really does feel good. All right. done. Throw that tennis ball away. Okay. Oh, yeah, let that foot kind of just relax here for a minute. I'm going to take my left foot. I'll show you on this side. Sometimes you can put it right beside your hip. Other people, just the way that your bones are formed, sometimes it feels better sitting on your foot, whichever feels best for you. From here, I'm just going to take my elbows down and begin to stretch out this quad, this hip flexor, get into the fascia that runs up my abdomen. If you're super bendy dendy, you can go all the way onto your back, which really increases the stretch. Now I can almost feel it into the adductors. And we're just going to stay here for a few breaths. Okay, to get up, I use my leg to kind of help me up, and I'm going to take it around, placing the foot onto the leg. From here, take a deep breath in, get a nice tall spine. Turn yourself towards that leg, trying to keep square. Begin to reach for that foot. Some of you might get here, some of you might be here. For the bendy people, you can reach your toe, and once you have a grasp on your foot, you can then relax your upper body and get into it. So a few breaths here. Good, making your way back up. Extend that leg, give them a little shake, and going on to that right side. I just keep switching directions just so you can see what I'm doing, but you can just stay in one spot if you'd like. All right, so taking that foot back, I begin to lean back onto the elbows. If you have bad knees, this probably isn't the greatest stretch for you. But what you can do is you can take that blanket or pillow and prop it up if that knee comes up. I don't mind if my knee comes up. My knees are pretty good. And I know eventually when it starts to release, that knee will start to fall again towards the floor. So take a few breaths here. If you want to increase that stretch, coming onto your back. Good, and breathing here. Try and take that breath in. Send it to that area that feels really tight, really restricted. And that air will start to loosen it up and create space so that the muscle has somewhere to relax into. If you are squeezing your glutes, try to relax them and let go. Good, and then making your way back up. Unfold that leg, bringing it in, sitting up nice and tall. Squaring the shoulders towards that left foot and leaning forward. Here I'm just taking the fleshy bits out from under my sit bones so that I'm able to fold forward a little bit easier. If you want a little bit more feeling in that low back, which tends to get really tight when we're standing for a long time, you can take your arm and you can cross it over your leg. So if you are not as forward as I am, you can still do that here and get that little bit of a twist in there. You can even start to side bend, which is a completely different stretch. If you want to get more into that side, get a nice tall spine and you can tip sideways. For me, I prefer this one. I don't know why, I just do. Just feels better. So whatever suits you. Breathing here. Coming back up. Okay, we just have a few more stretches to do, and then you guys will be ready and set to go in case we get called out again. All right, so we're going to come onto our backs, fingertips touching the heels, and we're going to prep for a bridge pose. So you're going to press through the soles of your feet, lifting your hips up. You can take your hands, interlace your fingers underneath, and roll your shoulders underneath. And here I am using my glutes to really push my hips up. You can also start to feel your chest come towards your chin, and you're going to tuck your head in slightly. And breathe here. Good, and exhale, release the hands, release the back, take the legs up, give yourself a little squeeze, and we're going to take these hips up and over to the left side, and you're going to gaze over towards your right fingers. Breathing here. Good, and your next inhale, bring your knees back to midline, your neck back to the center, and you're going to take those legs over to the other side. You might feel your shoulder come up. That's okay. Breathe here, and eventually that breath will soften that shoulder. And looking over to that left side. Good, and swinging those legs back to the midline, stretching out each leg, and bringing the arms down. You can tuck your shoulder blades under so they're lying flat, and just do one big sigh as you let everything relax. And that, my friend, is a stretch from your toes to the top of your head. Hope you're feeling good. Till next time, see ya.